took me 4 days to recreate this shot from Princess Mononoke with Blender Grease Pencil. And I'm going to show you, and this is not a tutorial, how I did it. By the way, the blend file is up on my Gumroad, and I was actually thinking to sell you this for free, but I also do love donation, so thank you. Okay, first I went to sakugaboru.com to grab my reference. After watching tons of Princess Mononoke clips, I ended up choosing that one. Then I rushed in Blender to import and cut my shot. Obviously, I couldn't start without a plan, and my plan was to animate on 4. For your understanding, here are different bouncing balls play on 24 frames per second. From left to right, there's an animation on 1, on 2, on 3, and on 4. I choose 4 because, first, it's faster with less drawing needed. Second, despite the choppy result, the animation itself isn't that bad. And third, I'm just lazy. With my reference on the side, I began sketching out sans animation. For safety, I prioritize working with layers. On sans layers, I started by creating empty keyframes every 4 frames. In that way, I can browse keyframes with the up and down arrows and get the right frame to draw. And remember, it's a sketch, so it doesn't need to be perfect. Then I follow the same process with Moro's animation. I do admit my sketch turned out much cleaner than expected, and honestly I have zero explanation for that. The only change I made was on the growl. On these last keyframes, I decided to animate on 2 instead of 4 in order to remove the choppy effect, which felt odd to me. By the way, in situations like this, don't be afraid to re-space your keyframes or even create new ones if you consider your animation needed. Next, the line art. At this stage, I simply redraw everything nice and clean. And you know what I mean. So thanks to some grease pencil features, I could speed up and fine-tune every step of the process. And to mention a few, like drawing with the stabilized stroke, sculpting and transforming lines, and the best one, the interpolate tool for creating in-betweens. In overall, I believe the sketch and the line art took me around 8 hours, with all the cleaning part included. Then comes the tedious task of coloring. This is the most time-consuming part of the process. Most of all, when you have to deal with an animation involving multiple keyframes in cell shading. In here, the cell shading requires minimum 2 to 3 steps. A base color, a shade, and sometimes a highlight. All you need is the fill tool set on solid fill material. I also choose the vector color method for color picking instantly over the reference to fill my drawing. Especially for this project, this method is much quicker than creating individual color material. Of course, it's a repetitive process, a bit boring but very effective. And finally, the background. To be honest, creating an environment remains one of my biggest challenges. Since I've been making animation, I always painting my backgrounds on Photoshop. But this time, I beat the challenge to paint it in Blender with the texture painting. This method requires a 3D plane for representing the canvas, a material for the appearance, and an image texture node for painting on it. In my opinion, this method isn't ideal for beginners because having to deal with so many settings can be very confusing compared to a painting software or you can simply open it and do your business. The first annoying thing was to deal with the alpha colors as replacement for the eraser. And the second annoying thing is to create as many planes and image textures for working with a layer system. But the only positive side is that I found a way to import my favorite brush from Photoshop to Blender in order to not limit myself struggling using the round, boring brush. The background wasn't really complicated to recreate, and it only took me a few hours to complete it. And after reorganizing my scene, I was finally done. Despite the few issues I had with the background, everything turned out so well and I couldn't be happier with the result. And to be fair, the original will still remain the best, because there is no way I could beat such a masterpiece. I hope this video was entertaining and instructive. I tried to innovate on this one, so let me know what do you think. Is seeing my face was a good hook? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, cheers!